Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us here for another edition of the Black Women's Guide. Today, I am super excited because I get to introduce you all to Natasha McCrea. So you
Hey.
all know, yes, absolutely. So we are just excited and ready to give you some great information and content. So let me just read a bit of Natasha's bio so you all know who she is and what it is that she does. So Natasha McCrea is a love coach who guides alpha females into designing the life they want with grace and ease. So they can attract what their heart desires in both career and love. I believe women are the gatekeepers to love, Natasha says. You can have more power than society has led you to believe. And when you tap into that love power, you can create the life and the relationships you deserve. It all starts with love, so she can coach you and smart women just like you who want to put down stress and overwhelm and to tap into their love power, how to live happier lives. I absolutely love that, Natasha. Thank you so much for joining us here.
I'm excited to be here.
Yes, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your business and how you got started.
So I specifically coach alpha females. Occasionally someone else might come into the fold. And how I got started, one, of course, I'm an alpha female. People don't notice. But I also knew that I always wanted to encourage and empower women through all forms of media. And I have a background in acting. And to get back into the industry after a long break, I wrote a one-woman show and I did a one-woman show and toured it. And in this show, I had a Q&A afterwards, and I thought people would ask questions about, acting and memorizing and writing and directing, but the types of questions they asked were about forgiveness and about loving themselves and about attracting the perfect mate and about getting over past hurts, and the list goes on and on and on. And I would get emails and questions about how I was able to turn my life around from being married and divorced twice at the time to actually living the life that I want to live. Now I'm married to the love of my life. We have a great relationship. And I knew that I was going to step into helping them. So I decided to create the Love CEO Institute because it gave me an opportunity to really tap into the heart of the woman, because the richest place in the world is in the heart of a woman. And that's, I wanted to have the front row seat to women just designing their lives and to getting what they want, period.
So you all see that's where that alpha female came from, right?
Yeah.
Period. I absolutely love that.
Period.
So tell me, how did you come up with the whole idea to even start, a one woman show? Like, how did you even venture into that particular space and place in your life?
It was wild because I had my son when I got married right out of high school, and I had my son by right before my 19th birthday. And I knew that I wanted to be able to coach young girls into knowing their value. Like when I was 19, 20, I knew that I wanted to do that. I just didn't have the platform. So after my first divorce, I moved to Los Angeles acting. My son and I moved to LA. And what I ended up doing was just taking acting classes. But then someone said, you should tell your story. You should tell your story. And with that being said, I was able to start taking a one-woman show course. I started taking classes, and I was writing a one-woman show. So that was, 10 years or 15 years before the show was on stage. But I would write and I journaled. So with counseling, I tapped back into journaling. That's a huge part in my coaching practice. And it's a huge part of anybody that I have taken coaching or counseling from, was journaling. So with journaling, with being in acting, entertainment, and taking different classes here and there to write, that's what had me come up with this one woman show, yeah.
Now that's amazing. So a lot of women are, I'll say actors. I won't even say just women.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of actors, when they go into this, they're looking for fame, they're looking for fortune, but you found a way to really turn kind of your passion for all of that into a way to help others. So
Yeah.
what was that moment in your life or in that space, in that place where you said, you know what, there's something here. Let me venture this way and go.
I think what happens is a lot of times when you are young and you get into entertainment, that's what they sell us. You know, they sell you the bill of goods. They don't sell you enjoying the journey. And it's always, oh, that when I hit that big, or when I get that gig, or when, you know, when I book that commercial, they don't really sell you that journey. And since I had a son, I knew that I had to get into a place of enjoying my journey. And I didn't always enjoy my journey. I was always on the grind. I did not see the road in front of me. I was always focused on something else. And it was tiring and it was overwhelming and you didn't know which way was up, and you have all these amazing ideas, but you're going over here and you're going over there and you're going, and then you look up and you're like, kids are 10 years older, or, you know, you're like, I've been at this job for 5 years. Where'd those years go? Or, you know, I always said I was going to start dating again. And it's been like 10 years and I haven't, because it's just easier. So for me in that moment in time, it was when I started doing the one woman show, when I woke up to that, because I was able to just become very transparent with my journey, with where I came from. And when I became very transparent, I think God just put me in a place where I saw other people where there was a need, because you always doubt yourself. Like, oh, I want to do this. I want to do this, but are people even want to hear this? But when I did my one woman show, you have to just listen to that first step. That's basically what it was. Listening to the first step to do the one woman show. I would have never thought, oh, my one woman show is going to get me to doing, you know, Love CEO Institute. Didn't even have a name then. But I knew I had to do that first step. And in doing that first step, it was like just the rose began to, you know, bloom and open up. So I was able to see the different petals inside of what I was supposed to experience. Yeah. So I think when you're transparent and you take the first step, you're open and available to begin to bring people in and help people.
So we know you own. Tell us kind of all of the entities of Love CEO, because you have the one woman show, but you also have a bunch of other things that you do as well. So tell us a little bit about that.
So with coaching, I'm an actress and I'm a producer. That's my background. But now Love CEO Institute, private coaching is probably on the forefront. So the way I work with clients is through private coaching. I also do group coaching. I do live events. I love having events when women can just sit around and maybe pick their favorite lipstick, because I believe every woman should have a red lip. So they have to try on the different red lips to see what works for them, because it's not the same one for everybody, but there is one for you. And so, or we'll go try on signature perfumes, or even sit down and powwow about relationships and owning your life and loving every aspect of your wardrobe and loving every aspect of yourself and loving your body. So live events, group coaching, private coaching, and online e-courses is generally what I do with Love CEO Institute. It's ways for women to know their tribe, because usually with alpha female society and other people have made them feel like they're, you know, the unicorn that nobody really wants, or you're too bossy, you're too opinionated, you're too this. And then usually what happens is this wall goes up for the alpha and she becomes like walking in a room all defensive instead of unapologetic. So I want to create a safe space for an alpha to just be vulnerable. Alpha females to be vulnerable in this safe space. And so that's what I do. Private coaching, group coaching, online events, and live events.
Oh, wow. So let's kind of unpack that a little bit.
Action packed, right? So you got a whole lot going on, girl.
Well, no, that as well as an alpha female myself, let's unpack that, because I'm sure we have some alpha females in the audience that's probably watching this and going, yes, 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 and yes. I walked into the room. Someone has tried to peg me as the unicorn, where it's like, don't do that to me. I'm not helpless. I can do this. I'm good. Right. But at the same time, we also want the softness and the gentleness from our mate, or from, outside others to see us as gentle and fragile, but we don't give off that energy.
No, because of all the stuff we've been given and learned, we have neurological pathways that have now been created to be defensive. And that's a pattern. It becomes a pattern, and that's easy. It's easy, but there is so much strength and vulnerability. And I believe the alpha woman knows how to do that better than anyone. She knows how to do it better than anyone. A lot of people have, you know, the hardened outer shell and on the inside, mushy, gushy, lovey, squishy. And this is, you know, the full alpha. And I believe alpha is on a scale. And usually what people want to do is just peg alpha as this. But alpha, you work up and down that scale. And so I joke with my clients. I'm like, I'm the Professor X of alpha females. You have this amazing gift and amazing skill to set fire to things. And most alphas walk in a room and just blow shit up, excuse my expression. And so my objective is to get you in this place to work that alpha range so you can walk in a room full of gasoline and light the candle wick on the table without blowing up the house. So it's really a matter of knowing that skill, like that vulnerability is maximum strength. And when you can tap into that vulnerability, then you're in your amazing feminine power, and then you allow that masterful masculine man to creep up. But when you're always in hardcore masculine, it's a clash. It's repellent. And so I think the alpha just has to learn, just work up and down that scale, honey. You can dance a little bit with yourself, and it's just a skill.
I love that. I love it. It's saying that there's nothing wrong with having the ability to set the whole room on fire. However, in certain environments, you want to just give little elements. I love that. That is amazing. Yeah. I love that. And so I'm definitely sharing this with my sister because that's her. Me too. But then I find that I'm usually the person to say, hey, why don't you dial it, you know, like don't. Yeah. Like, and I'm like, hold on.
It's like, okay.
All she said was, can I get by?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So
she's not disrespecting you.
Exactly. Right?
Her tone had nothing to do with you.
Exactly. It's not a diss. Like she's not coming for you.
Yeah. I know. I used to be so defensive. Somebody would say something like, what are you talking about? Tell me what you mean. You know? And there's nothing wrong with standing up for yourself and being, you know, independent and strong. But I think that you get the most out of life when you tap into every aspect of who you are. And so when I think of a woman who hides behind strong or hides behind alpha, or people use the word alpha in the wrong term. No, she was just being stank. She wasn't being alpha. You know what I mean? So yeah, so it's like, let's get that definition clarified. So my whole objective is just to get people into a place of being able, the alpha woman, to be able to be vulnerable and to understand that she's going to enjoy life more when she taps into all aspects of who she is. The soft ones, the quiet ones, the bright ones, the mad ones, the smiley ones, not resting bee face as people want to claim and own. I know some people are like, oh, that's just me. I just have resting bee face. And I'm like, okay, well, let's see how far you get when you're out and need to get something out in the world if you don't want to smile about it. I mean, that's my opinion and my soapbox. So I'm gonna roll back because I be getting on my soapbox and throwing my 2 cents in the hat a lot.
I love it. That's the first time I've ever heard bee face, by the way, and I like that.
Well, I'm shortening the word. It's resting face.
I totally. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. I love that. I absolutely adore that. So tell us a little bit about the business side, right? Because this platform, we're all about, you know, helping Black women in business and, you know, guiding them to success. So tell us a little bit about some of the obstacles you've had to overcome, not only as a Black woman, but just as a woman, period, in business, or some of the obstacles you've had to overcome just opening your own business.
I think most of the obstacles for myself were from within. It's, you know, your mindset, wondering if people want to even hear what you got to say, wondering if people care, wondering if this product is going to help people, you know, the self-doubt. Though my objective is to get tools that I have coaches. The coach has a coach. I always say that. So I would say the most challenging thing was aligning my beliefs and my thoughts up with that which I wanted. For a long time, I say, oh, I want massive success. But then you think of someone who's massive successful. And if you think, oh my goodness, they probably ain't never going to be sleeping. They probably don't have time for family. When are they going to take vacation? They're not be able to hang out with their girls. Then that massive success is, you're going to run from that. And one thing that I discovered, at the end of last year was I need to align what I believe massive success will bring me. And I think I can nap in the middle of the day because I can pay somebody to do my stuff. I can have unlimited income and pay to have my girls flown to an island for us to hang out. I can spend time with family because I have the money to have an operations manager who can run things. So the absolute biggest challenge was aligning my beliefs and thoughts up with what I truly wanted. That was and I took tons of classes on sales funnels and formulas and, all these other things. But if you look up and you're kind of halfway doing them all the time, I had to step back and say, okay, what's my thought process? What's my relationship with money? Because every year, incrementally, I've increased my rates, because that's where, with the skill that I've brought in with the trainings that I've gotten, and then what the results my clients are getting. You have to understand who you are and check in your energy of money. So my beliefs and thoughts, my relationship to money. I honestly, and people might, I don't know, call me, what do you call that person who's like overly positive? I don't believe in external challenges.
Optimistic, or?
Yeah. And then there's going to be a lot of people who, I don't appeal to, because I don't believe in those external challenges. I believe there are statistics. But I choose to be on the other side of the statistic. I choose to be on the positive side of the statistic. So if they're saying, oh, Black women don't get, don't get loans at an alarming lower rate, only 10% are getting the loan. And I'm like, well, I choose to be in the 10%. Or back in the day, it was so many Black women over 40 aren't getting married. The percentage of them getting married is 25%, blah, blah, blah. And there's 75 who are single. Well, I'm choosing to be in the 25. And that's just my perspective. And I do understand there are truths, because I can't just ignore, what has been someone else's story. But I choose to overcome the obstacle without claiming it as my own, because you get to keep what you defend. You get to keep what you defend. So with me, the challenge has been more of my own mental mindset or knowledge. There might have been something I didn't know, so I spent tons of money on something, and I wouldn't necessarily call it a waste, because it got me to the next step. I'm like, oh yeah, why did I pay thousands of dollars for that coach? That didn't work. Oh yes, I found a coach, but that led me to this other person. Yeah, I know I was long-winded on that, but
no, not at all. So tell me, so that actually is a great segue into my next question, because, for a lot of women in business, not necessarily only Black women, but for a lot of women in business, we feel as though, because all of these stats are thrown at us and all these different things about women, and we just came off, we're on the tail end of Women's History Month, all that such and such, right? What is the mindset that you believe women have to have in business in order to succeed? What do you believe that women have to know about themselves and the business in order to be successful?
I think you have to be unapologetically authentic. And what that means for an entrepreneur is, if you don't like waking up at 6 a.m., you don't have to copy that guru who says you got to get up at 6 a.m. Like, you're an entrepreneur for a reason, because you want to run your own show. So, you have to identify what you want. A lot of women entrepreneurs, and just women in general that I work with, are so afraid to even say or write down what they truly want. In your business, you have to say, what do I want my business to look like? And you have to take all these other gurus you see that you're gleaning from. You have to take whatever you're learning from them and package it for you specifically. If that means you got kids and you want to pick your babies up at 3 o'clock every day, you fashion your business around that. Period. You don't have to. And when I first started, I learned from the hard way. When I first started, because I was working a full-time job, I was building my business, and I just ran myself into the ground. And then I went, am I enjoying this journey? And my clients, I don't think I had very many clients. Like, there's this energy around you that just says chaos, and you might be looking chill, but there's some energy that they're like, I don't know what it is, but I don't know if I want to give her my thousands of dollars, So, so you have to really take care of yourself. You have to. So you got to know what you want. You got to know what you want. You got to identify who you are and be okay with who you are. If you're a night owl, if you're a morning person, I'm only using those as examples. You have to be just unapologetically authentic. And then you have to clearly write down what you want your business to look like. And don't be afraid that, that might change in 6 months. A lot of times people aren't writing it down because, well, what if I want this? It's like, well, then change it. But you got to start somewhere.
The reason why I'm like cracking up and laughing so hard is because I just had this similar conversation with a client. I do a lot of digital media, so I do a lot of web shows and podcasts and things to that effect. And this individual came to me because essentially they first wanted to start a podcast. And they said, yeah, I want to do a podcast, but I don't want to do it like everybody else. And I want to do it differently. I'm like, okay, cool. Yes, let's do that. Then after I asked a couple of questions and I explored a little bit, they were saying, well, Gary Vee's doing this and Lisa Nichols doing that. And, they could, who else did they bring? David John is doing this. And I said, wait. How about you? Yes. What do you want to do? And I don't want to interview people on podcast. I said, okay. Then it was like, I don't even listen to, she was like, I don't even listen to podcasts. Well, why are we talking about a podcast?
Why are we talking about a podcast? Because we've seen someone do it and think we have to do that.
I told her, I said those words exactly. You do not need to emulate exactly. And she's like, all my friends have podcasts though, and they're all saying how much of a pain of a butt it is. I said, but the one thing they do not have is a digital media producer. They don't have me. So that's the one thing they didn't have. What they're doing,
yes,
they're duplicating and trying to replicate
someone else's
idea and what they told them to do. And now they found out they hated it.
And it's time to move on. And I think that's okay. It's okay to get to a place where you might hate something, because I have a coach when she talks about poking the box. There's a book by Seth Godin. It's like poke the box. Yeah. And that means like try something that doesn't work, try something else that doesn't work, try something else. Like you have to, the more you fail, the more you will have success. I mean, look at Babe Ruth and all those other, Einstein, Jefferson, you name it, Jordan, Michael Jordan. I mean, the big people, the more you fail, the more you have success.
I love it. So I say all of that to say, I absolutely agree. If you're going to
like ditto.
Absolutely. Create a business, don't try to replicate. And I'm saying this to all of you out there, and I just feel it on my heart, so I have to say it. Do not try to replicate what you see being done on social media, in person, whatever, everyone else's business model. As Natasha said, you are taking bits and pieces of the information that's already out there, but then you are tailoring it to your own definition of success.
Yes.
So I absolutely love that. So following that right on along to the next step here, what do you see on the next frontier for you? What's next on the agenda? I know there's also a course as well. So tell us a little bit.
Yes. So the course that's launching, this is the second time that we are running through the course live. And it's called Unapologetically Alpha. And it just taps you into that alpha. It teaches you that tool. You work out that muscle. You know how to work up and down that spectrum. You learn your own seductive style that works in business and in relationships. It's a place for you to start designing the life that you want. And I'm speaking specifically to alpha females. I don't know if this course would be for other women, but if you're an alpha, the course is for alpha females.
So Natasha, can I stop you there really quick?
Yes.
Please define alpha. Please define alpha female. Define who that would be.
Alpha female is a woman who is strong. She has a resilience that I'm sure she has gone through so much in life. I'm sure whether it could range from bullying to opinions to being the youngest and having to bypass so many obstacles in life. That's generally where the alpha female comes from. I always say, if you're a Black woman, you're an alpha female. You're an alpha female. Generally, that's a blanket statement, but that's generally how it works. Because some people are born with being, a little bit more assertive, but then others learn that skill. And if you have a certain strength in you and you walk around and someone has said, oh, you're just too strong, you're just too opinionated, or you feel like there's a lot of things you're holding back because you don't quite necessarily fit in with the crowd of I'm going to say, what do they call them? The cows versus the rhinos. That's a book I read a long time ago called Rhinoceros Success. The cows versus the rhinos. Then you're alpha. You are alpha. And people, sometimes I see on the internet, people want to list all these things. I'm all about my money. People are like, oh, what do they say? What are you doing now? And they're like, I got my degree and this and that. And that's okay. But I don't necessarily consider that alpha. Alpha is unapologetic. Alpha is smooth. Alpha attracts, doesn't repel. Alpha doesn't have to give you explanations, So I hope that was clear enough.
Absolutely. So and you were going on about the course and it being live. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So what we do is we go through as a self-guided plus live Q&A with a group that there's awards throughout the process. It's an 8-week course. And it's just a beautiful place to grow, learn, to set yourself up for what you want. My motto is design the life that you want. And I don't use that casually. I really mean you are the author, you are the painter, you are the architect, and it's time that you stop doing things you don't really like or you don't want to be doing and start designing the life that you want. So it allows you to take your tools of who you are and those natural gifts and learn how to use them. Learn how to use them as if you were a masterful chef with the most amazing, knives, and you're going to make this masterful dessert or a masterful, wonderful meal. And that's what I want you to do, is make a wonderful meal with your life. So that's what Unapologetically does. It allows women to get focused and understand who they are and design the life that they want, period, point blank.
So it's a lot of self-awareness and just
it's huge.
Yeah.
It's huge on self-awareness. There's exercises. There's a lot of exercises for you to tap into, who you are and what your natural gifts are and to stand in them unapologetically. That's the whole objective. Because sometimes we know things about ourselves and we're like, oh yeah, I kind of do that, but I'm trying to change that. It's like, no, just know who you are. Stand in unapologetically, because then you can expound or grow with that. But if you're constantly resisting something, it's going to stay there. It's going to stay there. And it's not good. You're rejecting yourself. That's not good.
Yeah. So at what point in your journey here did you identify yourself as an alpha female? What was the experience that took place that you identified yourself?
I always knew I was different. And I had a coach. It was so funny. I had a coach and I was working my business, and I had this course, and I still have it. I still offer this course, but it was loving yourself to love. So my message was very general love. That's where my message was. And I was always trying to get specific about love. That's another thing. Be specific, entrepreneurs, with who you're going to be working with. And so I was talking to my coach once, and she was asking me like, well, what did I want to do? And I said, well, I have this course and I have all these people who've come into this free thing, and it's, we're talking about love, and I really want women to learn to love themselves more. And she said, that sounds great, but it sounds general. Like, who do you want to be talking to? And I was like, alpha females, because they have a bad rap. And I know that they can have what they want. And she said, I knew the minute you opened your mouth, you were alpha. And I was like, I am, huh? Like I didn't necessarily identify myself as alpha, maybe because of the negative connotation. So my point is, I don't want any other woman to feel that way. I want her to stand in it unapologetically. And the moment I did that, my business grew. My business grew like 5 times. You know, the minute I said, I'm talking to alphas, and I'm alpha, because I was taking pictures with flower dresses on like this. And that, you know, that's okay, but that's not my, you know, I see that and I love it. But you can see the woman and you're like, that's really authentic for her. But that wasn't for me. Like, you saw my pictures and I'm like, hey, and it just was not authentic for me. So the moment that coach said that, I was like, I am. And then I went to another class and like, you're a crack the whip, spread the love. And I was like, I am crack the whip, spread the love. So all my stuff I was like, yeah, I am. So it was probably about a year into my business. And I think I'm on year 3, 4 now. Yeah. About a year into my business. I was like, I am alpha. And that's a beautiful thing. Let me tell everybody about it.
I love that. So great segue, by the way. So how do you tell people about it? Because I know you do some Facebook Lives. You do production. You have a production company as well.
Yes. I have a production company, and we create content that has strong female leads. So right now, I've just optioned a pilot, which has a strong female lead in it. And I will tell people about it through all of my e-courses. I also speak. So any events anybody might want me to come speak at, that ranges from, you know, self-love and oh my gosh, I did this event, self-love for entrepreneurs, and it was just beyond belief what the changes people had in that. It was just because we don't really have a lot of self-love for ourselves as entrepreneurs. Everything comes first, business, long hours.
Because we're so giving. I think we set out to start this business to help people. I mean, I see the same thing in myself. I started this business because I wanted other entrepreneurs, especially in the African-American community, to start to utilize social media. I felt like we always had the girl, you know, shaking her butt in the camera or whatever.
Yeah.
But I wanted more intelligent conversations. I wanted those CEOs and C-suites and entrepreneurs that have been in business for years to have a platform. And I found that a lot of them were in the real world, living their lives doing it, but their online presence was, match the individual I saw in real life. So I'm like, we have to, you know, so I started creating these online shows and all.
That's why we need you in this space, Jessica.
And you're right. But I was so busy pouring into other people, I noticed that I started to suffer, right? And I started to lose myself in that of pouring into everyone else. So I can go, hold on. So like you said about the red lipstick, so I'm the perfect candidate for that. Because I've gone to like a MAC store, like the mall, and I've been like,
and try them all on till your lips hurt.
Like, I don't know what I don't, you know, this tummy, I don't know.
So take the risk. And you know, you say pouring in is so important, because I always give this analogy. I went to a workshop once, and the lady held a cup with a saucer, and she poured water into it, and the water began to overflow out of the cup into the saucer. And she said, now the water that's in the saucer is what you give from. You don't give from the water in the cup. And I live from that. I coach from that. Is you're giving from the water in the saucer. When you have overflow, when you fed into your life, that's what you give from. And a lot of alphas are being pulled different directions. And because you're so good at stuff and you strategize and you can help so many people and you can do this and do that, and everybody wants a piece of you, and you kind of lose sight of yourself. Yeah.
Right there. She's on it. So I interrupted. Tell me about the production company and what you guys are doing. And congratulations, by the way. That's awesome about the pilot.
Thank you.
So tell us a little bit more.
Okay, so with the production company, we have a book called American Spectre that we optioned. And so now we are in pre-production with going through a lot of the edits, locking in cast. And so we'll look to shoot within the next 12 months. Yeah. I'm really excited about that. And I just feel like my whole objective is to get out and spread that word of, you know, you can enjoy life. I think because for so many years, I just felt like I was being pulled through life, you know, and I wanted to now just take a moment and enjoy the journey of it and not turn things down, because that's supposed to happen, especially if you're in acting or in the industry where you're like, oh no, but I'm waiting for this phone call, so I know I can't go. You know, it's just like, oh my Lord, just don't. You have to enjoy this moment, this moment, what's in front of you at this very moment. And therefore, you know, yes, you have goals, but yet you're enjoying getting to them. And I think they'll come to you faster when you're in enjoyment rather than like this on your computer. I gotta do this. I have a deadline. That was me. I'm just giving an example of me, you guys. That's what I was like that. I was like, I'm working. I'll eat. Okay. You know, I'm eating at my computer. Stop it. So now I'm like, I'm taking a glass of wine and have my dinner. And then I'll go back and work. And I'm like, for the most part. There are some days where I'm like, but not a lot.
I think it's needed. I think it's needed.
Occasionally it is. It is.
It is needed, right? But there's also absolutely, we need to dedicate that space and that time for us to absolutely unplug and just kind of move away. Like
enjoy the journey.
Exactly.
Even if you are working on a deadline, I don't know if it was Deepak or Buddha. I'm not sure. One of them was talking about, I know that was like,
they're kind of in the same.
But yeah, kind of, sort of. Sorry, you guys. I wish I had a little bit more. But we talked about rushing and doing things. Mm-hmm. Like you can run like, oh my God, I'm going to be late. Or you can just walk briskly because you're going to, you might be late, but you're not losing your mind. Absolutely. So internally, you can have so much more peace, even in hurry, even in deadlines, even in pulling all-nighters.
Yeah.
But it would be from a place of much more peace rather than tense. Oh, and I know what that feels like. So I choose the other side.
And I think as we're speaking to entrepreneurs or just women in business, it's really, really important, especially for Black women in business. I know for me, and I think you've probably had an inkling of this as well. You talk a bit about it with the pulling. For me, I really do. What's the word I'm looking for? I resonate with the whole pulling through life, mm-hmm. where you're giving to everyone else and you're doing all this other stuff and you're just kind of busy. Girl. And I just had that conversation not too long ago with my husband. I had this time in this period where I was just went from one thing to another. I never really had the time to heal. Mm-hmm. Plus the fact that I'm a mom of 6. So all of those times.
I love that.
Yeah. I was helping everybody else and then thinking about all of my other kids and, helping them get through life. It was like, no, I don't have time for me. No. So when I started this business journey, I started doing everything that everybody else was doing. And then I stepped back and said, okay, but what does Jessica want? And I was like, oh crap. I think it's been about 20 years since Jessica actually thought about what Jessica wants.
Yeah.
So I want you all to take from that story, and like she said, to delegate things, to find people that can help you and not think that you have to do it by yourself, but the number one, step back and really define and do what I call a deep dive. Assess where you've been, what you've done, how you could help people, and then move into your next season for that reason, right? And that
And the thing that I want to leave with them as well is we can coach you, okay? And we are on here having these conversations. Absolutely. And that's great. But you still will probably go through your moments. However, the best objective is to get with someone who's going to shorten that learning curve. I think that's the main objective, is just to shorten the learning curve. So us telling you this is not to say you're going to completely avoid these things. They may show up, but now that you've heard this conversation, you might go, oh, hold on, wait a minute. And it's just going to be a little reminder to kind of stop. Oh, what did Jessica say on that call? Or, oh, what did Natasha say? Oh, that's good. It'll cut that learning curve down a little bit for you.
Absolutely. And you kind of know what to look for. If you're feeling like you're lacking in certain places, or you're not feeling fulfilled, or you're feeling rushed, then okay, I need to step back. I need to assess. I need to take Natasha's class.
You need to take my class. No, it's really good. And of course I would say that. But I do have people who
a tiny bit biased, just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I am a tiny bit biased, but it's so funny when I go over the lessons, because I've taught this, but just recently I was going over it. I was like, oh yeah, that's good. And my best friend's cracking up at me. Like I do a journal every month, a guided journal. For those of you who may not want to get into the course, but I release a guided journal every month. And I was going over the prompts for, the next couple of months. And I was in the car with her. She's driving. And I was like, ooh, that's a good one. I think I'm going to write that one right now. Like seeing what I'm writing. And I just love, because I'm kind of my client, I am kind of my client.
We all are. That's absolutely it. It's that we are all at that place. And, I heard a quote, and hopefully I can quote it verbatim. If you want to know where you're going, look back to where you've been. And it's
Mm.
really looking back at kind of where you were, and then you're helping that same
Yeah.
person move
Yeah.
to where you are. So it really is that journey. So I love that
I
you
love that.
yeah, yeah, and that
I
really resonates
love it.
with me a lot. So, all right, awesome, awesome, awesome. Thank you so much for coming on, Natasha. Tell everyone where they can find you.
Yes. So you can all find me at loveCEOinstitute.com, but I have a free gift for all of you, for your viewers. Yes. So if they go to bit.ly at Alpha Masterclass, they can get one of my free courses there. It's a really quick, cute one. It's staying strong and sexy all year long in 2018. And yes, so that's at bit.ly/Alpha Masterclass. That's one of my free classes to you. It costs, but there's a coupon, a direct link to a coupon.
Absolutely. And we will make sure that we place the link to your course down below. Thank you so much, Natasha, for coming on
Awesome.
Black Women's Guide. So you guys have just checked out another edition of the Black Women's Guide, where we are a team of Black businesswomen helping you and supporting you as Black-owned businesswomen yourself take over the business space and help guide you to success.
Yes.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. See you next week.
Bye.